A couple of weeks ago, I decided to shoot infrared film for the first time. I purchased a couple of Rollei infrared rolls with the R72 infrared filter. When you are using an infrared filter, it blocks all the visible light and only let the infrared light to pass. It means that if you want to actually see what you are shooting and focus on it, you need to use a rangefinder camera or a TLR. So the choice of camera was very easy. My trusty Mamiya C330 with 50mm lens on it. I had to rate the film at ISO 6 and it was near sunset. So I took a tripod with me for those very slow shutter speeds. For my first shot, I found this tree, simply because trees look awesome in infrared. The reason for white leaves is that the infrared light is not absorbed or reflected by chlorophyll, so it simply passes through it. You can also see the guy under the tree, which looks like a typical black and white photo. Here is my second shot and another tree. You can see that the sunlight on the grass is very bright because the sun is a very strong source of infrared. For my next shot, I was very curious to see how these tulips look in infrared. Of course, the tulips were almost dead at this time of year, but I took my shot anyway. Here you can see that the tulips look totally white, which I think is kind of scary. For my fourth shot, I couldn't resist this view of the Parliament building. You can again see the bright tree leaves, but those parts that are under shadow look a little darker. And here I took another tulip photo with framing similar to my previous video, but this time the tulips are completely white. For my next shot, I found a group of tulips that were still alive, and again you can see that they look scary white. Then I took a photo of the famous Mamiya sculpture with Notre Dame Cathedral behind it. The cathedral was under sunlight and that's why it looks like so bright, while the cold metal looks very dark. My eighth shot is a close-up of this tulip, which again looks scary white. For the next shot, I framed these two flowers that look very nice in a normal color photo, but in infrared they look kind of boring. My next shot is again these tulips near a statue of Colonel Boy with the Parliament building in the background. I had two more frames left and I wanted to shoot something other than trees and tulips. So I walked toward the National War Memorial and you can see its reflection in my infrared filter, which is very cool. Here is how the photo looks like, which is kind of like a typical black and white photo. But the tree leaves are still brighter and the sky looks kind of weird and misty. For my last shot, I went toward the east block of the Parliament building and took this shot. At first it looks like a typical black and white, but there are several differences. Here I converted the image from the video to black and white, and you can see that the grass looks brighter, which is kind of a given, but also the right side of the building is a lot brighter. And if you look at people, you can see the people's clothes look different in infrared, especially the guy's pants are black, but in infrared they look like a very light gray. And finally, in infrared photo, the Canada flag is totally disappeared, which is really weird. It was a very interesting experience to shoot infrared, and if you have a TLR or rangefinder, I definitely recommend it. So that's it. I hope you liked this video. If yes, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram.